Okay, First Lady, over to you.
Thank you, Shannon. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of our Ask an Expert series. Becoming a new parent brings a host of new roles and responsibilities: caregiver, protector, chef, educator, personal stylist, chauffeur, and more. One role that catches many parents by surprise is advocate. Whether it is at school, in the doctor's office, or even at the policymaking table, you are your child's best source of support. Listening and incorporating the voices of parents, especially mothers, into our work has been a crucial component of Nurture NJ's strategy. Time and time again, when developing our Nurture NJ maternal and infant health strategic plan, we heard not just about us without us, meaning that we cannot create groundbreaking policies that will profoundly impact our residents without their input. Over the past 4.5 years, we have been intentional with how we incorporate the community's voices in our work. Whether it is having parents present at our monthly Ask an Expert interviews, engaging the community in Trenton as we build out our Maternal and Infant Health Innovation Center, or even including funding in the state budget to create a database for maternal feedback. We understand the value of mothers' lived experiences in guiding our work. Today, I am thrilled to welcome our guests who are experts in the field of parent advocacy and who will be able to help all of us be the best advocates we can be for our children. It is my honor to introduce our panel. So with us today is Carl Boyd, a parent and fatherhood advocate. Carl serves on the Universal Home Visiting Advisory Group, as well as on the board for Project Hope. Carl is also a community advocate on the New Jersey State Early Childhood Comprehensive Systems team. And among other roles Carl is the co-chair for the Camden County Council for Young Children, a member of the CPAC Community Advisory Council. He's a male involvement coordinator at the Center for Family Services Head Start, and Safe Corridors coordinator for Camden Promise neighborhood at the Center for Family Services. Welcome, Carl.
Thank you.
Also with us is Deepa Srinivasavaradan, the Director of Early Childhood Initiatives at SPAN Parent Advocacy Network. Deepa holds a variety of leadership positions. She is both the CDC's Learn the Signs, Act Early ambassador and the Division for Early Childhood Recommended Practices ambassador. She is also the state parent lead for New Jersey's early childhood initiatives, including Help Me Grow, Early Childhood Comprehensive Systems Prenatal to 3, and Home Visiting. Deepa is the New Jersey Associations for Maternal and Child Health Programs Family Delegate and a Family Fellow of the New Jersey Leadership Education in Neurodevelopmental and Related Disorders program. In collaboration with her state team, Deepa has also helped create several New Jersey-specific resources to address gaps in connecting to services when developmental concerns are identified in young children. Thank you for being here, Deepa. Next, we have David Armstrong, the parent liaison for the Essex County Council for Young Children. David is a volunteer parent partner on the Essex County, New Jersey State Early Childhood Comprehensive Systems team. In this role, he has made significant contributions to making our systems more father-friendly. David has shared his personal experiences and perspectives at several forums in New Jersey and nationally. His work on the Project Launch Initiative in New Jersey led him to being invited to join the steering committee of the National Early Childhood Family Network Steering Committee. David also sits on the board of trustees for the Family Support Organization of Essex County. The FSO is a peer-to-peer organization that trains, supports, and advocates for caregivers who have children with special healthcare needs. Welcome, David. And last but not least, we have with us Faryal Najeeb, a healthcare organizer, parent advocate, and mother of 2 children. In her advocacy work, Faryal has met with local, state, and federal policymakers and stakeholders to demand change for the greater good of communities, including affordable childcare, paid leave, empowerment for women of color, and affordable healthcare for all. Welcome, Faryal, and thank you all for taking the time to be here. You all have very impressive bios, and I want to begin by thanking each of you for your work advocating on behalf of New Jersey families. So thank you. We are really lucky to have you on our side. I know each of you has a unique story regarding how you became passionate about your work. I'm wondering if you can tell us how you got involved in parent advocacy. Deepa, perhaps we can begin with you.
Thank you, First Lady. Really appreciate, again, this opportunity to be on this panel with you and with my fellow parent leaders. Again, my journey really started with my older son. He was about 6 months old when we migrated to the US from India. And I was that first-time mother, not aware of what to look for in terms of child developmental milestones, or not really aware of how to access the services and navigate the different systems. So that's how my journey really started. And I was just relying on the healthcare provider, my child's doctor, basically to guide me. And even when I had concerns, I was a bit hesitant to talk and express my concerns because, I come from a culture where, we don't question people in authority, or, we look upon doctors and teachers and other administrators as having more information than us, and really relied on all of that information. So long story short, there were some needs that my son had, and really needed to connect to services. After a lot of struggle, one guiding angel really connected me with early intervention and other supports that he needed, because he had some developmental delays. And eventually, from the experience, I was able to understand that I had to speak up, and I had to reach out, and I had to connect. I had to be aware of what is available and what I can access and how I can access and navigate everything. So that's really how I started becoming more involved, because I realized that I didn't know what I didn't know, and then was able to reach out. And then I became very hungry for information. And then when I had all the information, I couldn't stop with just myself and my family. I had to start sharing with everyone else that I came across. So that's how I really started becoming involved.
Thank you. Thank you. David?
That's hard to go behind my friend Deepa. I'm a father, grandfather, great-grandfather, so I got 3 generations going on. I was kind of forced in this journey of parent advocacy. About 12 years ago, my oldest grandson was diagnosed with some special healthcare needs. I was at the school 3 or 4 times a week, but I wasn't getting anywhere. I was lost. I couldn't find my way, and I didn't believe that they were giving me the support or services that I needed for my grandson to reach his fullest potential. I guess they were doing their best, but it wasn't the best for me. So I had to learn how to, navigate the children's system of care, which is somewhat complicated in our state. But I also found out that we wasn't really father friendly as of yet. We're getting better. We're getting better. Trust me. We're engaging fathers more. So that's where my advocacy started, because as a PTO president for my grandson's elementary school for 10 years, I realized that it was more children like my grandson that was out there. There were more parents like myself who didn't have any idea which way to turn, which way to go. So that's when my thirst for knowledge began. And that's when my advocacy journey started and why it started.
Thank you. Okay, Faryal.
Yes, thank you again so much for this opportunity. I guess all of us have the personal story where something happened with our own children, our own family, and I'm kind of like in a similar situation. When I got pregnant, I was relatively new still to the country. I didn't have a lot of family either, and I really struggled with my pregnancy and coming to terms with it, and with the whole idea of motherhood, basically. And at that point, my OBGYN, recommended that there's a program called Nurse Family Partnership. She asked me if I would, want to be a part of it, and I agreed. And honestly, from the confused, frazzled, scared, pregnant, first-time mother who had no idea what I was doing, I'm here today. I have two beautiful daughters. Nurse Family Partnership helped me with my pregnancy, during labor, the first 1,000 days of my first child, and it made a huge difference. And when I started talking to friends and families and everybody else around me, I realized there's so many facilities here in New Jersey, so many services that are there for the residents, but people don't know about it. So when Nurse Family Partnership, they had a program called Parent Ambassador, when I found out that they have this program going on, I applied for it, I got accepted. And when I first time met legislators, and both at federal and local level, I realized that they really listened to my story. They paid attention. I saw changes happening. I saw differences. When I wrote letters, I got replies to them. And I realized, because initially when I was starting off, I was like, I don't really know if they would want to listen to my story, or would it really one person make a difference? And I was a stay-at-home mom at that point. So I was like, who would want to listen to a stay-at-home mom? But then I realized that it's us stay-at-home moms or mothers or people who are going through all these experiences whose stories really matter. Because we don't have any vested interest, we are not getting paid for it. It's not a job for us. It's something that we're personally going through. And that just made me more passionate. I got involved with more organizations after that. And I've never stopped, honestly. It's been 2.5 years and I've not stopped advocating for different issues for children and women and families in general.
Excellent. Okay, Carl, last but not least.
Thank you, First Lady. How I got started in parent advocacy is, my nieces and nephews were going to Head Start. So while I'm an uncle, I'm also a father figure. And I knew that I had the time and space to volunteer and serve on the Head Start Policy Council. Head Start Policy Council was started off. So in doing Head Start Policy Council, you're on there with a group of parents and also community leaders. And this is federally mandated that every Head Start in the United States has to have this policy council, because you want to have parental and community input. So while this started as me just wanting to volunteer and be there to support my nieces and nephews, it grew to parent advocacy, working with other parents, and even spiraled into other opportunities where I got to do things at all my nieces and nephews' schools. So with parent advocacy, and I'm sure everybody else can attest to this on the panel, once people see that you're willing to be dedicated, volunteer, and to give back, you get pulled in many directions, so I said, well, I do have something to give. I do have a voice, and I, do have a story, and I'm going to use that to help parents, not only in my local community, but I want to affect change and policy throughout the state of New Jersey. So henceforth, all the different many roles that you read off, that's where all that came through. But it started with Head Start, which is under Center for Family Services, and now it's Mosaic Early Learning. And they also had a lot to do with connecting me to other resources and other agencies to which I participate in and can give back. So that's the story.
Thank you so much for sharing those personal stories and for the incredible commitment you bring to your work. Clearly, all the personal stories you have are what really are going to help us and help our moms and our families today. We are so lucky to have you working on behalf of New Jersey families. Okay, so can you tell us a little more about the different organizations you work with as parent advocates? I think this time let's start with David.
Thank you, First Lady. I appreciate that. One of the biggest one that I actually are part of is the Essex County Council for Young Children. Birth to 8, Make It Great. It's a state initiative, and it comes under Program for Parents in North New Jersey and stuff. What we do is family-led, is parent-led. We have 3 main committees: education, health, and safety. And on each committee, there's a parent co-chair and it's a community stakeholders co-chair. So we're like equal partners. We're co-designing along with the community stakeholders. We're equal partners and stuff. So that's what makes it so great. In addition to that, I'm a part of the family support organization of Essex County that you mentioned earlier. And it's like a peer-to-peer support organization that helps caregivers or parents that have children with special needs. Like, they teach them how to navigate the children's system of care. Hence, here I am. You know, I would be remiss real quick if I didn't mention, and hopefully it's all right, I met a lot of strong women in my journey in these organizations. And I just want to mention Dr. Beverly Lynn, who's the CEO for the Programs for Parent organization. The Assistant Division Director, Office of Early Childhood Service, Ms. Lenora Scott. ECCS Help Me Grow Coordinator, Ms. Eric Dickerson. ECCS Help Me Grow Assistant, Ms. Nicole Hopkins, and also Ms. Hazelton Pigwin, Family Support Organization. And I wanted to just mention them because I'm a lifelong learner, and these young ladies were able to help me build my leadership capacity and my parent advocacy. But last but not least, my one person that my mentor is also on this line, on this panel, and that's Deepa. She's been very helpful in pushing me out of my comfort zone. And like I said, the state workers, they pushed me out of my comfort zone. They said, you got this, you know, don't worry about it, we got your back. And they're still supporting me. I've been with them for over 5 years. So I just wanted to say thank you.
I love that. I love that. That was really kind of you, David. Thank you for giving everybody a shout out, because it definitely takes all of us. We're working together for sure. Okay, Faryal, you're up next. Thanks.
Okay, so I'm not with Nurse Family Partnership anymore, but it's a home visitation program. I work for New Jersey Citizen Action, which is a statewide coalition and grassroots organization that fights for social, racial, and economic justice for all. I'm a parent advocate, and I am on the Parent Leader Council with with Advocates for Children of New Jersey, which is a statewide national advocacy organization that helps advance better policies, programs, and services for children and families of New Jersey. So these are the 2 organizations that I'm very actively involved with. I work with one of them, and special shout out to ACNJ, which is Advocates for Children of New Jersey, because the work that they're doing for children, especially 0 to 3, is phenomenal. So yeah, that's what I do.
Excellent. Okay. All right, Carl, you're up.
Okay, thank you, First Lady. For me, I'm also a part of a council for young children, the Camden County Council for Young Children. And, you know, as David was saying earlier, we deal in anything around birth to 8. So we often have parent trainings. We teach parents how to be advocates, show them that, you know, their voice can be heard and that their input is invaluable to the mission of our organization. And also, you know, ECCS Point, which is Early Childhood Comprehensive Systems, also a part of that. And ECCS Point and the Council for Young Children sort of work hand in hand. And they tend to deal in the area of birth to 5, and we ask parents to do developmental screenings, and we also provide trainings for parents. We also have community advocate positions, and basically with the many things that I do, we try to instill in parents that you do have a voice, that what you say is powerful, what you say can change policy, not only locally, but throughout the state. And as David did, and as I'm going to do, I want to also thank like Nicole Hopkins, and Erica Dickerson, and Lenore Scott, and that's on the state level. But on the local level, I'd like to thank Camden County Council for Young Children Coordinator Jeanette King and Karen Scott, and just people that have been supportive of me in growing in these different areas around early childhood development, around advocacy for the parents of children for all ages. So just I can't name all of them. So you know who you are. I'm saying thank you to you. If I didn't mention your name, don't charge my heart for it. Just know that I do thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, Deepa.
Thank you. I work, as you mentioned, First Lady, I work at SPAN Parent Advocacy Network. I reached out to this organization many years ago, probably 12, 13 years ago, when I needed help for my son. And that was not easy. I was very hesitant, based on what I shared about my journey and where I was initially as a parent, and what I knew as a parent, and what I could do as a parent. It was not easy to make that first phone call. But when I did, the support I received was phenomenal. And I realized that SPAN was a one-stop for families like mine, because they not only provided the emotional support that I needed and helped me navigate the issues that were going on with my son's school, but they also offered trainings for parent leaders and parents and families. So I made use of all those opportunities. And as I said, I was hungry for more and more. And I kept attending all of their trainings, and, just was so empowered. And I said I would volunteer for them, but they really said that they don't need a volunteer, but they needed me to start working for them. And again, as Faryal mentioned, I was a stay-at-home mom, didn't want to start working. I wanted to just focus on my son. But then they said that I could be it could be a very flexible job, working for just like 2 hours a week. And then I realized that I was being roped in, and then really became very passionate about the work that the organization was doing to support families, and really loved their vision and mission, and fell in love with everything. So here I am working full time. I've been working full time for several years, and this connection with SPAN, which is the family organization in our state, really helped me connect with many other partners across the state, organizations across the state. And one such connection was with the Department of Children and Families, Office of Early Childhood Services, and all the names that Carl and David mentioned, Erica, Nicole, and Lenore. All of them were really welcoming, and they really wanted the parent voice and to be in the front and center of everything they did. And so eventually, with the relationships between that was there between SPAN and their office, we were able to they were able to bring me on as the state parent lead. And that's how I got to meet David and Carl and so many other parent leaders who are really, they are parent leaders. They just come to us with all of the skills and everything that they have. And I just support the teams in supporting them to just realize what they already have. So I would say, David, you came to us with everything that you're doing today, and we just helped you recognize your own strengths, and we didn't do anything else more, or we didn't teach you anything more. So I just wanted to share that. And so that's how I just started being more involved. And, I'm happy to say that all of our state partners, all of the state departments, are really invested in making sure that there are positive outcomes for our children and families, just based on the work that I'm doing. And I'm so thankful for the Nurture NJ initiative and all that is being accomplished through that for our children and families. I'm happy to say that I have been part of that too as a stakeholder. So I'm really excited and thankful for that. Thank you.
Well, I can tell you that we are grateful for your partnership. So I deeply appreciate that. And really thank you all so much. I think it's really important for parents across New Jersey to know that these kind of organizations exist and are able to support them in a variety of ways. Okay, Deepa, as Director of Early Childhood Initiatives at SPAN Parent Advocacy Network, can you share some ways that families can be more engaged in their child's early childhood education and development? Maybe that might help.
Sure. Again, I think I mentioned this already. Knowledge is power, and parents really don't know what they don't know. And I would say that every parent should see themselves as leaders, and because they are their child's first teachers, they know their child best. So if we can instill this in all the parents, and if they realize all of that, I think that is the first step towards making sure that their child has positive future outcomes. So again, everything, and I'm really passionate about promoting awareness about developmental milestones, because that was something that I was not aware as a young parent. And being the CDC's Learn the Signs Act Early Ambassador, that's very close to my heart. That's a program of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and they have ambassadors like me in each of the 50 states and a few territories now. And the role of us as ambassadors is to work directly with families, but also support the early childhood community with information and resources that they can share with families with young children. So knowing about child development, focusing on the early relational health piece, making sure that they are engaging with their children in positive ways so they can make sure that they have positive experiences as young children, is really helpful. And more than anything, I would tell parents, please celebrate your children. Make sure that they are in inclusive settings. Make sure that they get what they have what they need, and if not, learn what you need to know, so you can advocate for their needs, and make sure that they are connected with the resources and supports that they need. Thank you.
Thank you. That's really helpful. It is so important for parents to feel empowered as an active partner in their children's early education. Okay, Faryal, I have a question specifically about your work. From your perspective as a healthcare organizer and parent advocate, how does empowering women lead to better health outcomes for children and for their families?
Thank you, First Lady. Let me just kind of piggyback on what Deepa said, and add that Nurture NJ, I've seen in my line of work as well, has made phenomenal difference. There's so much that you can see the good work that is going on. And to answer the question, I think it's really kind of like a circle. If women are empowered, if they're more aware of their own bodies, if they're aware of how to raise families the right way, if they are aware of what's the good and bad, they automatically impart it to the children, to the society around them, to their families. I think it's kind of like an inbuilt thing that women automatically look out for each other. And if they have some piece of good information, they will pass it on. So as I said, the reason I use the word circle is because when these women pass on the information that they have, the knowledge that they have to the community is going to pass it on. It's going to uplift the community in general. When they pass it on to their families, the families are going to come closer together. They'll probably make pro-life and healthy choices together as a family. And when children see all this, they learn from that. So when they grow up, they will probably impart the same kind of knowledge to their own children and to their own families. So it's really a never-ending circle if women are, empowered, if they're taught right and wrong, if they're invested on. Because as I said, I'll give you an example again of the home visitation program that I was a part of. I learned so much on how to take care of a child in initial days. I mean, I think as parents, all of us think we will be the greatest parents right away. The minute the baby's born, you're an expert. But when you're actually holding that young child in your hand, you realize you're not ready for it at all. But the things that I learned when I had my nurse visiting me, I imparted those same knowledges to my friends and families, and they passed it on, and it really made a difference. So I think investing in women, empowering women, educating them, makes a difference not only in themselves, but the future generations, America, the state, community. Is just endless, basically. So, and that's something that I do as a parent advocate, as well as a healthcare organizer, something that I really focus on. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. As you know, achieving better health outcomes for our mothers and babies is the ultimate goal of Nurture NJ. So we are grateful for your partnership and work. And before anyone asks, I did not pay them off to say good things about you. I'm really thrilled you are supportive of all that our team has been working on. But again, it's a team sport. So thank you. Okay. David and Carl, you both hold various roles in many organizations, but are particularly strong advocates for fatherhood and the empowerment of dads. How can the involvement of the father throughout all stages of pregnancy, birth, development, and later years be impactful and produce better outcomes for the child and the family as a whole? David, do you want to start?
Sure. Thank you, First Lady. I appreciate that. As Deepa said earlier, knowledge is power. Being able to educate the father and data and research has shown that when a father is involved in their children's life at an early age, they do better socially and emotionally, not just at home, but in school, dealing with their classmates, dealing with their teachers, and dealing with themselves. But I say the most important thing that fathers have to realize that social emotional don't start at birth. Social emotional start prenatal. And a lot of times when they're young couples and they having financial troubles or they having issues or challenges and they having these heated conversations, they don't realize that all that energy or whatever you want to call it is going down to the baby and going into the womb, and they getting this energy from that. They feel that. They feel it, the anxiety. They feel everything. So on my platforms, any ones that I have, I try to make fathers aware that it starts prenatal. It doesn't start when the child is born. It starts while they're in their womb and stuff. And like I said, knowledge is power, and statistic and research already show that they do much better when the father is involved at an early age.
Makes sense to me. Okay, Carl, you're up.
All right, thank you, First Lady. To kind of piggyback off of what David said, all of what he said is true. It starts prenatally, but it doesn't stop when the baby is born. It goes throughout the life of that child. It goes even into their college years. When you have a father involved in the life of their children, fathers model good behavior. And I know that's one thing we always say at Head Start. We want to model good behavior, and that's any parent. But a father specifically modeling good behavior has an impact on the child. It has an impact on children's grades. It has an impact on the children's behavioral health. It has an impact on, I'll say at the preschool level, a child's love of reading. I know one of the things when I'm at work, because I'm not currently working now because I was sick, but one of the things I used to do was we used to have a dads take your child to school event, or we would have a breakfast with dads, and we would bring the dads in because we wanted dad to see how the school day was. We wanted them to see how their children were interacting. We wanted them to eat breakfast with their children, because a lot of families don't do family style dining anymore. We wanted them to experience that. We wanted the fathers to read to the class, because that, when they see a dad, that's an example of modeling good behavior, they're going to want to read. And even if the child can't read at that stage, which most can't, they'll picture read. They'll pick up a book and just look through the pictures, and they'll use their imagination to describe. But if we don't have fathers in the lives of these children, they're not there to model those good behaviors, and they're not there to kind of synchronize those good behaviors in their children. You know, one thing about fathers not being there was a report in 2006. It was called the $100 Billion Man. And it talks about how fatherhood absenteeism cost this country $100 billion a year. And that was in 2006. I hate to even imagine what that costs the country now in 2022. And that's just the economic impact. You know, we have the social emotional impacts, like I said, the behavioral health, all these things. So fatherhood, the fathers being involved in the lives of their children are super important. And even in the description, you described me as a parent and fatherhood advocate. And the reason I wanted that distinction made is because a lot of times when we learn advocacy, we're just talking about moms, but we have to include fathers. We have to invite them to the table. And that's why, like I said, while I am a parent advocate, I'm also specifically a fatherhood advocate, because we have to invite them to the table, build trust. And when you do those two things, you're going to see immense gains all over this state and all over the country.
Great advice. Thank you so much for those insights. The support a father provides at every step of the way really is invaluable, as are the lasting effects. Okay, I have a few more questions for everyone to answer. A major focus for us at Nurture NJ is ensuring that we are incorporating the voices of parents, especially moms, into our work. What is your advice to organizations who want to include more parent involvement in their decision-making? Faryal?
I would say absolutely do it. Parents in general, moms are the ones who are actually going through the different experiences on ground. They know the issues that they're facing, the problems that might be there, or, the obstacles that might be there, even the good things. It doesn't necessarily always have to be the bad ones. They know through personal experience what they are going through, and they would be able to guide all these organizations that are involved with parent advocates on, how they can maybe improve or, overcome the obstacles that are there, or maybe even, promote what is good. So very, very necessary to have parent voices, especially for all the organizations that deal with children or families or parents, both fathers and mothers, because they really know what is happening on ground, and addressing those issues makes a world of a difference.
Okay, Carl, I think I'm gonna let you go now.
I mean, very simply, we have to invite parents to the table. Parents have to feel invited. I mean, I often say that more specifically for fathers, but parents in general just have to be invited. You have to put out the offer to parents. And once those parents are invited, you have to take feedback that they give and really listen to it. And I believe that we need to find ways to incorporate that feedback into the missions of the organizations that we are serving, to help parents and to help parents raise their children and to do for their children. That would be the main thing that I would say. I think if we do those things, I believe that the other stuff will fall into place. Once they feel invited, they're going to work harder. They're going to give more. They're going to do more. So that's what I would tell you.
Fabulous. Okay, Deepa, you're up.
Sure. I would encourage everyone to, again, see every parent as a leader and focus on authentic outreach. So you are trying to build those trusting relationships with families. And that would only help in your interaction being more transformational and not just being transactional. Parents have a lot to offer. And so just investing in the parents and the families and making sure that they feel supported and invited, just like Carl said, will only help them ensure that parent voices are in the front and center of everything that they do. And again, invite them to all the tables, invite them to not just your planning phase, but implementation, evaluation. Parents are ready and capable of participating at all those levels. They can co-design your initiatives. They can they just need to be invited from the very beginning all the way till the end. So just wanted to share that. And another thing that David and Carl have really helped me and our team in here in New Jersey and nationally as well is to focus on supporting the dads and making sure that their voices are also heard. I'm going to steal David's thunder probably by saying making the invisible visible. So it's become my mantra now because of what David has taught us and what Carl always speaks about. So we are not only supporting moms and other caregivers, but definitely in full support of the dads and all the father figures that are out there. So please include families, dads, moms, grandparents, everybody in your planning, implementation, evaluation, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. And now to the man who makes the invisible visible.
Thank you, First Lady. You can see why Deepa is one of my main mentors and stuff. She stole a little bit of my thunder, but I just want to say you have to intentionally and authentically engage parents, mothers, and fathers. And there's a difference between engage and involvement. Now, engagement, you invited me to the table and you marked me off with a check mark. Involvement is that you value my perspective and you let me co-design some of the solutions that we are trying to get to. And it means, someone already said, I think it was Deepa, nothing for me without me. How can you tell me what I need if you don't even know me? You haven't spoke to me. You haven't built that trusting relationship with me and stuff, So authentically, intentionally, the trusting relationship, and let us co-design. Let us co-design, and that's both moms and dads and stuff, because like dads want to be a part of that process. We want to let you know that we're trying to get rid of that stigma. We're not just providers and protectors. We're also nurturers. So, thank you so much, First Lady.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you all so much for that guidance. Ensuring that this work incorporates the feedback and perspective of parents is absolutely essential to our success and obviously to the success of many other like-minded organizations. Okay, I have one last question for all of you. Buzzer round, we've only got like 2 minutes left, so this is gonna have to be a quick one. And it's a tough one, of course. As parents, we all know that raising our children is a full-time job. So what is your advice to parents who are struggling to balance their family and work life? Let's start with you, Carl.
I would just say to those parents that you're not alone. And if you have family supports, such as an uncle or aunt, grandparents, utilize those family supports. But if you don't have that, which you have a number of families that don't, utilize all these organizations that we just mentioned. There is a parent advocacy group near you. Utilize all the things that they offer and bring to the table.
Okay, Deepa?
I would say definitely focus on self-care because that is key to making sure that you're able to balance family and work life. And reach out, like Carl said, reach out for help, reach out to the organizations and parent leaders in your communities who are already, there, and or if not, you can certainly reach out to the organizations to get connected to them.
Fabulous. Okay, David.
Yes, you as a parent have to be able to give yourself a timeout. Go sit down somewhere, go in the corner and sit down somewhere and give yourself a timeout and learn about mindfulness. Mindfulness is very good in helping you with the anxiety that comes with life, comes with dealing with our children and work and stuff like that. Mindfulness is very helpful.
All right, Faryal, last but not least.
Yes, well, personally, I think I'm the worst person to ask this thing because I don't really balance my own life and work, to be honest with you. But yes, taking out time for yourself is extremely important. It doesn't really have to be, going to the spa or facials or anything like that. It can be a quick jog. It can be just reading a book, maybe listening to rock music and headbanging like crazy, thinking, anything which gives you peace of mind and, releases your stress. Extremely, extremely important. In today's world, especially with the inflation that we have right now, it is very hard to not focus only on work and try and do overtimes. But once in a while, I think we all need to take a break. And the organizer in me is screaming out. I need to say this. I'm sorry, but Governor Murphy, there are a bunch of childcare bills which are out there. Please approve them because affordable childcare can also help with work-life balance. So thank you so much for this opportunity and for listening to all of us. Thank you.
Absolutely. I will just say on behalf of my husband, I know he really cares about childcare. So believe me, I'm sure he's looking forward to seeing those land on his desk, but we'll see. But thank you all so much for sharing your responses with us. I think that the past 2 years have been incredibly hard for any working parent, and finding the balance between work and home life is the ultimate challenge. I love some of the words that were thrown out here, which was basically self-care, giving yourself a timeout, being mindful, knowing that you're not alone. I think that's really important. And I think that the, having peace of mind and peace of stress, all of that is just rock solid advice for everybody. I really want to thank all of you for being here today and for this incredible conversation that we've had. From healthcare advocacy to early childhood education to fatherhood, women's empowerment, we covered a lot of ground. I hope all of our parents watching at home feel a little better prepared as advocates for themselves and their families. Please don't forget to share this episode on your social media channels so other families have access to this information and great advice as well. We actually also have, I think, nearly 20 other episodes of interviews with all kinds of experts, which you can find on my Facebook page if you find this one helpful. Okay, again, I really want to thank our 4 incredible panelists today for being here and sharing this information with us, as well as for the outstanding work that they do across the state to support New Jersey families. Each of you is an incredible asset to our state, and I'm proud to count on you as allies and partners to nurture NJ. So I thank you all again, and I hope everyone has a safe and fun 4th of July. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, thank you.